All right, so here we have the Overstable putter. Now this is going to be the most torque resistant, the most forgiving putter that you can have at your disposal. Typically, the best time for these would be in heavy wind situations, or when you want to avoid finishing to the right. You want to reach for an Overstable putter. This is going to want to just fade left basically at the end. When you add a lot of spin to a normal disc, it's going to want to turn to the right. You typically won't have that problem with an Overstable putter. It's going to fight whatever spin you put on it and be a little more forgiving out of the hand and stabilize itself the quickest before fading to the left. So this comes in handy in a lot of situations, especially like the wind we mentioned, or trying to get around an object and finish down to the left. Typically with an Overstable putter as well, you'll find that a lot of them are very deep, and that's not necessarily comfortable for a lot of people. They also tend to have a bead on them. Now you can also find them without a bead. So if you find that some or most Overstable putters have that bead and it's a little too deep and comfortable, you can find ones without them to take advantage of an Overstable putter and have that comfortable grip. So typically, yeah, they are a lot bulkier. This is just gonna help with the drag in the wind and cause it to fade a little quicker. If you find yourself in a situation where you're facing a really tough wind, or you need that extra stability to help control your line so it's not turning, you can find that with an Overstable putter and put that to good use. The Understable putter. This is the one that is going to be the easiest to control with minimal power. You don't need as much spin to get this to fly. And these are really easy to manipulate in the flight. So if you find situations where you need to turn it to the right at various angles, these are going to be the easiest ones to do it with. They tend to be also a lot slimmer and shallower. So for people that don't like the deeper putters, these are going to feel the most comfortable in people's hands. And they're also going to resist fading to the left. So if you need a situation where you need this to stretch out, continue flying straight for a long time, this is going to be your best choice for that. With the Understable putter, you'll typically find that you don't need as much power to get these to fly, and these have the most glide, and they're going to resist fading till the very end of the flight. You typically don't need as much power to get the same flight as you would with an Overstable disc, and these are going to also be the most affected by the wind and elevation change. So in terms of sensitivity, these are going to be the most sensitive to what you're doing to the disc, and they're going to help you fine tune what you're doing. You typically won't be able to get as good of a read on an Overstable putter because of the torque resistance, but with these, they're going to let you know exactly what you're doing and exactly where you're sending that energy, because they'll be able to turn with that momentum you're giving it. It's like turning the sensitivity up on a controller on a video game. You just have to be a lot more careful with what you're doing, a lot more precise. And typically in downwind situations, these are going to be better for you. Tailwind will add stability to these Understable putters and help them fly straight. So if you're wanting to fine tune your putt, if you're finding that it needs some work, typically going to an Understable putter is going to tell you exactly what you need to work on. It's going to take a lot more touch and a lot more precise movements to control. And then when you go back to a slightly more Overstable putter, you'll find that it's going to be a lot more controllable and precise.